So last night was the Vegas Golden Knights home opener. And yes, I know they played an away game before they played in their home opener, which was their first game, the away game. And this was their second game last night. And the gameplay you're seeing is NHL 23. And no, I did not buy it. It's on the EA Play demo for Game Pass. So I get a 10-hour trial, and anyone who has Game Pass Ultimate gets a 10-hour trial since EA Play is part of Game Pass. Anyway, it's a new season for the Golden Knights and with some changes and new coach Bruce Cassian, and they're starting a new jersey age, I guess, with these jerseys. It's going to be their main home called the Golden Age. But anyway, Knights are back for another season, year 6, which is hard to believe that this team's been in the lead for half a decade and we're already in year 6 of this team's existence. Their young existence, which is really hard to believe. It's like they're already in their 6th year. Time goes by. I know it's scary. But anyway, last few seasons, we all know 2018, Vegas goes on that amazing run to the Stanley Cup Final, wins a game in 2018, but unfortunately, sadly, loses to Alexander Ovechkin in the Washington Capitals. Year 2, they lose in 7 to the San Jose Sharks. Year 3, which was the pandemic year, they go to the Western Conference Final, but end up losing to Dallas, a team they should easily beat on paper when they were stacked. Then year 4, they make the Western Conference Final again, but this time lose to Montreal, unfortunately, and when they're more stacked than ever. And year 5, didn't make the playoffs. They're looking for a revenge tour this year, the Golden Knights, with everyone healthy and a new coach, and plus they're going to be missing some players. I was unable to watch both games, but I did get a look at the line. So let's begin looking at the players that made it. Riley Smith, one of the original Golden Misfits. He's being moved from his usual line with Carlson and Marchessault. Jack Eichel, entering his 2nd year with the Knights, predicted to have a revenge tour monster year. Hopefully he puts 30 goals in and up to 40 goals, and with a full year with some good line mates now that he's out of Buffalo. We got Phil Kessel, who's going to be in the top 6, which I find strange. He's had a rough 3 seasons with the Coyotes. Signed a 1-year deal with the Knights, which I'm excited. We didn't have to give up assets, but he's looking to show he still can do it, as gas left in the tank. On the second line, Mark Stone, our captain, who can have a healthy season. I predict he'll put 25 to 30 goals this season by staying healthy. Who's been a good asset, even though we traded a good prospect, but Ottawa has yet to make the playoffs since that trade. Second line center, Chadwick Stevenson, who had a good year last season, was one of the top scorers on the team, who was mostly a 4th-line centerman, bottom depth player in Washington. Then we have Brett Howden, young player, but not, entering the mid-20s. Then we have, on 3rd line, Paul Coulter, who's 22, looking to add some depth to the team. For 3rd-line centerman, this one pains me to see William Karlsson. Bruce Cassian's making changes, and this one pains me to see him as a 3rd line. I really liked it when he was a 1st and 2nd line centerman for Vegas, but you got to make changes. Things not working. Hard to believe he's now 29, about to be 30. I hope he makes his way. Karlsson, he's my favorite player now on the Golden Knights. I hope he makes his way back to the 1st line centerman and scores 30 goals, but I don't see that happening. But he's got his wingman, Jonathan Marchessault, which is hard to believe he's now 31 now. Like, that's just absolutely insane that these players are older now and aging. Robbie Smith, I forgot to mention, is 31 now, members of the original Golden Misfits. Carrier, one of the original Misfits, fourth liner. It's hard to believe there's not many original Golden Knights left from that 2017-2018 Stanley Cup run. Then we got Nicholas Roy, who will play fourth line centerman for depth pieces. And Keegan, who's also a decent depth piece. So yeah, these are our forwards for this season for the main lineup. Then for defense, we got Alex Martinez, who's 35 now. I just hope he can still play well because we have him for 2 more seasons, which is hard to believe. Two-time champion with LA. Alex Pietrangelo, which we got after the 2020 season. Signed him to an 8-year deal. Hard to believe he's 32 already. We got Brayden McNabb for second pair. Hard to believe he's 31 now. One of the original Misfits. Then we got another original Misfit, Shea Theodore. Anaheim, I can't believe you gave up this player in the expansion draft. You really lost a good one. Like a really good defenseman. Nicholas Hage, who was young. And Zach Reichroud, who's a good third pair defenseman. For scratch, we got Mike Van Houten and Jake. I don't know. I guess he's young, but he's entering his mid. Like in the mid-20s, but he's young, but not young, but who might make a good depth piece. So yeah, these are our forwards for our Golden Knights. And our defensemen, it's also our first season without Max Pacioretty on second line wing, who put up a 30-goal season but couldn't stay healthy. For goalies, Robin Lehner's out for the whole year. So Logan Thomas, who has some NHL experience, is going to play a full season this year. I hope he does well. I can get this team back into the playoffs. So yeah, then we got Adin Hill, who used to play for the Sharks. So Vegas this year for goaltenders, they have goaltenders that are in their late 20s. And they got Warren Berzent. I know I said his name wrong, but I don't care. He was almost 30. So Vegas has goaltenders that have experience in AHL and some NHL experience, older goalies as backup, but one starter who's looking, I think Logan Thompson plays well and can get the Knights back into the playoffs and win playoff series and make it past the third round and win the cup. I feel like he can replace Robin Lehner since he's younger. But for the Knights this year, it's a lot of is going to be on this team because they're stacked. They have Jack Eichel for center. They have Mark Stone, which we all know who's been an amazing leader. They got Marchessault, even though he's not in the top 6 anymore. They got Carlson for third-line centerman, who can. They got some depth pieces, they got Pietrangelo, who they went out in the 2020 offseason to grab. But Vegas' time is running out, fans. We've had one of the best young existence in NHL history and for any expansion team. But time's running out. We gave up a lot of first-round picks over the years. We gave up Nick Suzuki for Pacioretty, and we ended up losing that trade. Pacioretty didn't win us the Stanley Cup, and we lost him for nothing. And we traded Eric Brandstrom from Vegas to Ottawa, but Ottawa still hasn't made the playoffs yet. And Brackstrom is looking to do well this season, or finally find his spot, but for this season, Cody Glass wasn't working out for us, so we traded him for Patrick, but Patrick is going to be injured all year, and his NHL career might be over, which is sad to think of. But for Cody Glass, like, so far he looked like he didn't work out and just wasn't going to be the player that we expected. But we'll see what happens with Nashville now that he's made the team. We'll see what happens. Because we traded him. We don't have any... We've traded, like, other prospects over the years, and... like first round pick almost every season. I think every season. And we traded our last bit of like decent prospects like Peyton Krebs and a young player and an original misfit Alex Tuch for Jack Eichel. So this year it's when it's a sink or swim for the Knights, like, or if they don't make the playoffs or get punted in the first round or don't even make it to the third or Stanley win the cup. Well, I guess I should say, if they don't win the cup at all this year, more major changes are going to be made. You can't keep this band together when it's not working. And I feel bad for the Knights. Like, they're in a must-win, like I said. Like, because they've been going all in every season over and over and causing, like, they've been in cap hell where they have to move depth pieces to get these big fishes. Like Stone, Pietrangelo, Pacioretty when we had him. Who else? Alex Martinez, even though he's older now, he's not the same player as he used to be. But we got better in leadership from people that won Stanley Cups, and it just couldn't win us a cup. And when our main core from the original Misfits were younger, we just couldn't do it. So what do I predict this season? My expectations for Vegas is get back into the playoffs and make it past the first round. I'm not expecting as much as I want to see a cup, because time is running out. And they'll probably trade the first pick if things go well. But if they don't make the playoffs, like I said, or win the cup, or even make it close, major changes are going to be made. And I can see this offseason, if things don't work out, is possibly Carlson moved. Like one of the original Misfits would be sad, but if things are not working, you got to make changes and do a retool or possibly get younger. So yeah, Vegas has probably 1 or 2 seasons left, in my opinion, or 3 to win the Stanley Cup. Or it'll just, everything they did will just, it's going to be a rough, like, rebuild for the Golden Knights if they eventually go in it, because players will be older, they will lose players. So yeah. Vegas, like, and where I predict they'll finish in the standings, I think third, because Flames look deadly this season. Oilers are looking to continue the success they had last playoffs, making the Western Final in the Pacific. So my prediction is third.